there's a vast array of prodigies being promoted online. 10-year-old published authors, 8-year-old degree-level students, and 9-year-old mathematicians with business empires. But what's life really like for these mini masterminds? You know, my interest in this subject has been renewed on becoming a parent, because it raises that dilemma all parents have, which is how far to encourage your child if they've got a certain talent, and at what point you're actually pushing too hard. And that's something I'm really keen to explore on this journey. I'd heard of gifted young scientists, but on the outskirts of Seattle, there was apparently something much rarer, a literary prodigy. Adora Svitak is a 10-year-old writer and teacher being billed as the world's youngest professor. She published her first book of writing tips and short stories at the tender age of 7. This is too hard for me. I think I'll wait for the audiobook. Seattle is America's most educated city. More than half the population are university educated. I headed for Redmond, a sleepy town on the outskirts, in search of our young literary phenomenon. Reading at 3 and writing by 4, Adora soon became a local news sensation.
This is one of those stories you really have to see to believe. It's about a 7-year-old girl with an amazing talent.
Her feet don't even touch the floor, and yet this 7-year-old can do what few her age can do. Short stories that she's written, one after another, Almost 300 short stories.
So she's got her own website. It's called Adora, writer, poet, and humanitarian, age 10. Talk about setting yourself up for a fall. It also says that she can type 70 words a minute. In the last year alone, she's written over 330,000 words. And interestingly, it says that how she does all of this is a combination of encouragement, love, and technology. I've really never heard that sentence before. It's quite a strange thought, but obviously I'm going to find out more when I meet her.
Arriving at destination on right.
I think our little child genius has just run out there. Adora? Hello, I'm Mark.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Listen, it's so nice to meet you. And I've been reading your work.
Oh, great. Thanks.
And you have a great command of the language.
Oh, thank you so much. I love writing and using vocabulary words all those times.
I can't decide who I've got you down as yet, whether it's the next Charles Dickens or maybe J.K. Rowling.
I think that Dickens might be, he writes kind of convoluted sentences in some areas. Although I really do admire his work, I'm not really sure which one I'd rather be.
That's good. It's good that you've got that ability to see, you know, the faults in Dickens. Why not, you know? Definitely. And you don't want to be overawed by your heroes too much, do you?
No.
I'd offered to act as chauffeur for Adora and Mum Joyce. Mum, if you pop in first, and Adora, in you go there. Today, like 10-year-olds everywhere, Adora was off to primary school. This morning's lesson, writing poetry. But with one small difference. Adora wasn't a pupil.
Let me introduce myself. My name's Adora Svitak. I'm the author of Flying Fingers, Master the Tools of Learning. So today, does anyone want to guess what we'll be learning about? Yes? Poetry, very good. We're going to write a poem of our own together. Maybe it'll be a very funny poem, and then we can read it out loud.
Her performance was very slick.
Have any of you heard of William Shakespeare?
Her mum told me she stepped in front of her first audience at 7 and was now teaching several of these sessions a week. Adora?
Thank you.
You're very encouraging to the children. You know, I'm wondering where you get all of that confidence from.
I think that when I was a kid, then I needed encouragement. I think my parents were always very big in giving me support and giving me also sometimes constructive criticism.
Did you just refer to yourself as a kid in the past tense?
Yeah, I tend to do that.
It seemed almost as if Adora had already put her childhood behind her, and I wondered if she ever felt she was missing out. Some people would say, you know what, 10, that's too young to be working. What do you think of that?
Well, I think that this is more than work to me. This is actually quite enjoyable. This is play almost in some ways. This is giving me a lot of experience and education. I don't really look at it so much as work.
She was the oldest 10-year-old I'd ever met. But what lay behind this extraordinarily grown-up girl? Adora is homeschooled and 3 years ahead of her peers. She follows an online curriculum. So...
This is the office, and it's a great place. This is my little area. This is just really sort of my center of everything I do. All right, this is my schedule.
Aha! Adora showed me the timetable she'd devised for herself. Age 10, she already had a schedule that would put a junior cabinet minister to shame. Wow, okay. How old were you when you realised that you were different from other children?
When I was little, I thought everyone loved reading. I thought reading was the most fun sort of game. It was enjoyable. In fact, I read so many books a day. My parents actually had to tell me to stop reading.
A lot of young people, they don't want to be different, you know, there are enough pressures, and so kind of being one of the gang is the easiest way sometimes when you're growing up.
Well, I like being different, unique, and sometimes I wear very simple clothes or very plain that show how much disregard I have for the rest of society that's saying that I should be wearing jeans and I'm wearing sweatpants instead. Today I'm not, but I often wear mismatching socks.
Evening and time for the family meal.
That's good. Thank you, Mark.
Joyce grew up in China during the Cultural Revolution with no access to books, and now she seems intent on giving Adora and elder sister Adriana the knowledge that she was denied.
From very young age, I hire babysitter to not just watch them for the physical comfort. I always coach babysitter to teach the kids, to play with them in a way that's conducive to their learning, so they learn very early on.
Sure.
I teach my kids the same things like learning is just as essential as eating and drinking. You don't ever stop eating and drinking, and so you never stop learning.
Dinner for most families is a chance to catch up on the day. For this lot, it's an opportunity to talk world economics. Unsurprisingly, Dad John is a software engineer with a PhD in physics, and 13-year-old sister Adriana is a highly talented pianist.
You got the news online today?
Yeah, Dow went up a lot, and the NASDAQ a little. Dow went up by some 100 points, and NASDAQ by...
And if I was impressed by the dinner conversation, I was about to learn there was even more to this precocious child in mismatching socks. As well as the books and the website, Adora is on her way to becoming a phenomenon, broadcasting nationwide to her less able contemporaries from a TV studio in the family's basement.
And you are in Indiana, I presume? Yeah. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
I was in Redmond, Washington, spending time with young literary genius Adora Svitak. I wanted to test out one of the claims on Adora's website, that she reads 2 or 3 novels a day. So I challenged her to a speed reading contest.
Queen of the Ancient World, Zenobia.
Queens of the Ancient World, yes, that sounds very, very good. What page is that?
262.
All right.
All right, on the count of 3 we begin. No peeking prior to that allowed.
Does this count as peeking or not?
Yes.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Sorry, the light's very low in here. Can we? No, okay, carry on.
Done.
Okay, that's a slight problem because I'm on the 3rd sentence about how this queen had long black hair, and that's as far as I got.
Okay, well, her physical appearance was actually quite important. She had a lyrical voice, long black hair, as you said. She was originally had Lulia in her name, but she changed her name to Septimia Zenobia in order to match the name of her husband.
Okay, it's astonishing. The only person I know who can read more quickly than you is Superman. Yeah, and he does this. And then he's done it. But you're getting there.
Adora needs to read fast if she's to get through her schedule.
Tell me about the video conference.
Well, every day, or nearly every day in fall, then I would have a video conference with a school about writing. And actually, I have the video conferencing unit downstairs.
So you've effectively got a TV studio downstairs.
Yes.
Most families' basements are full of dirty laundry, but Adora uses hers to deliver online lectures to schools all over America. She gets paid $300 for each gig. Today's lesson was being beamed nearly 2,000 miles to a classroom in Indiana.
Okay, personal narratives is what we'll be learning about today. So when you write a personal narrative, you are writing a story from your own life. It was rich chocolate.
It was another faultless performance from Adora. Her confidence seemed unshakable. I had to remind myself she's only just turned 10.
So, what can you tell me that a good story should have to make it exciting?
Nickelodeon, a conflict?
Conflict, very good. Conflict and obstacle, those are things that make a story pretty exciting. Well, thank you, everyone. You've been a great class today, and I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. So thank you.
Thank you, Adora.
Listen, really well done. I thought that was
thank you.
fantastic. So Joyce, is there a lot of work involved in doing these video conferences from your point of view?
Yes, really has grown to more than a full-time job. I have always managed her schedule, and also I'm the one who knows how much she can do, and then she talks to me how much she wants to do. So
you're a bit like her agent almost.
I suppose you can see so, yes, because we try not to have outside people come into this equation because we understand each other best and, better than anybody else.
I wanted to get to the bottom of who was really in the driving seat in this partnership.
A recurring theme that I've sort of encountered since I've come is a question of where everything comes from in terms of Adora. So, where the enthusiasm for writing and reading comes from, where the publishing deal comes from, Is it from her? Is it from you?
Half and half, I would say, because she has just as many ideas after you get to know her, like I do. And so we kind of bounce off each other.
And you don't think she's compliant to some of the ideas because she just wants, to keep Mum happy and to win your heart?
I don't think that's kind of her number one agenda or something on her mind, because I would be happy no matter what. She's just a lovely child, and I don't think she has to do any extra work to please me. I think she wants to do this as much as I want her to do. So it's really not about me influencing her, and most of the time, a lot of times she influences me. So I think, as far as her wisdom goes, she won't just do things to please her parents.
Plans to grow Adora's profile seem to be advancing. Joyce's next target was the corporate world.
We are driving through the nerd capital of the universe.
In the past, Adora has commanded appearance fees at corporate events of up to $10,000. Now she was going to pitch for work with the world's largest computer company.
Hello, it's nice to meet you. Well, come on, let's go upstairs.
As soon as we sat down, Adora launched into a presentation, displaying all the skills of a top-end salesperson.
So here's a little overview of some of the things that I have done. I wrote my first book, Flying Fingers, on Microsoft Word, and I published it at the age of 7. And it promotes the use of technology in education, and that's something that I really believe to be beneficial to students. I hope to reach out to schools across the country and possibly even across the world giving talks and demonstrations. I've spoken to over 300 schools and classrooms globally, and often during some of my presentations I will do live writing on Microsoft Word.
You are truly the role model for us. That's fantastic. I need to hire her, Brian.
Do you just want my job and I'll go home?
Yes, I am actually looking for a job at Microsoft.
The business pitch seemed to be paying off.
We'd love to tap in on you, Adora, to do some demonstrations for us. So if you're available to do that, I know you have a very busy schedule. We would love that opportunity.
Yes, I would absolutely love to do demonstrations. I love really just talking to people. It's really fun for me.
Adora, it's a pleasure meeting you.
Oh, thank you. Very nice to meet you as well.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Adora was extraordinary at this meeting. You know, it's really worth reminding yourself that this is a very alien environment for a 10-year-old. It's a massive multinational corporation. And she sat there in a conference room surrounded by adult professionals and held her own.
Adora seemed a force of nature, not so much a literary prodigy as a mini commercial mastermind. And back at home, I was about to learn there were still more branches to Enterprise Adora.
Great stuff. So, what exactly is happening now?
Well, I'm going to be signing a few of these books.
Okay. And you've got boxes and boxes of it. And
Yes.
how many have been ordered?
I think 95.
What, in one individual order, 95?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes, I agree.
There you go. You've already tripled the value of that book now.
Help out, forge my signature. No, I'm kidding.
Don't want to do that.
I do not
Then
want to do that. You can study
Oh,
my
value.
signature now.
Yes, I will. Try to analyse it. A tortured genius. How's that moniker for you?
No, I think that sounds a little too tortured. This is fun. I love signing books.
You've definitely picked up a sense of how to publicise yourself, haven't you? You know, you're signing your books, your face is all over the cover here. So, I mean, I think you're sort of building brand Adora somehow.
Yes, maybe so. But I don't really do so much of the publicity work. I more deliver the content.
You'd be quite comfortable being the Martha Stewart of reading.
Well, some people say I'm the next J.K. Rowling, some people say I'm the next Martha Stewart reading writing. So, whatever I become, I hope that maybe someday kids after me will be told maybe you'll be the next Adora Sweetalk. That would be very cool.
I'd enjoyed my time with Adora. She was a delightful girl with an incredible mind, though I was left with some questions about her schedule.
Since I arrived here in Redmond, I've had ongoing reservations about Adora's lifestyle, the huge work output that she has, the responsibilities she already seems to be carrying. But we are where we are, and the bottom line is that in spite of the grueling schedule that Adora has, she's very committed to this program she's embarked upon with her mother. My only concern is how difficult it will be for her when she doesn't have the cachet of being a child prodigy.